You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Hello, welcome to the Interregnum episode of Offensive Lines. The old Pope is dead. The new one has not yet been crowned. There will be white smoke coming from the Superdome in 2 weeks' time. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd. And I hate the 2-week layoff in between the Super Bowl. Hate it.
I hate it too, but with road teams and all of that, I've grown to accept that it probably is better. And lately the games have been better. When they first instituted it, it always seemed like the games with the 1 week layoff were better. There was no backsliding and choppiness to the games. We've had a lot of good Super Bowls recently. I gotta say, I'm now a proponent. I've changed my mind.
I think it's more of a factor of the parity in the league why the Super Bowls are better. Ever since they instituted a salary cap, it's narrowed the gap between the teams that had more money. So the games are getting better. Everybody's even.
That's possible, but think if Seattle had gone this year. They would have been to Washington, been to Atlanta, then been to San Francisco. To then travel over to the East Coast to New Orleans, I think travel would have become a factor that we really don't want to think about.
Then win your division. Win your conference if you don't want to travel.
Yeah, well, maybe this leads to something we've noticed too, is, the way wild cards can dominate like never before.
Yeah, what was it, 5 out of 6 years?
Yeah,
wild card team's been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Green Bay, Giants twice, and Pittsburgh were all winners.
Yeah. New Orleans was the only one in that stretch that won that Super Bowl in 2010.
We don't make the schedule, and this one's never going away. This one's never going away.
Which one?
The week off now.
No, they get it's money too, because it's hype and crap, and I can't wait to. I've been kind of avoiding NFL stories because I don't need to hear about the Harbaughs and everything to Ray Lewis and.
I take the week off. But
there's nothing to be learned this week.
No, nothing. And there's nothing to be learned next week too. Media Day is a zoo. We'll learn that somebody has a developmentally challenged little brother. There'll be all sorts of human interest crap.
Well, yeah, but Media Day's been more about the media than the football. They always tend to focus on the outrageous people that are there asking questions. I see more stories of that than you do about what else could I need to know about Colin Kaepernick that I haven't already heard?
He's trademarking Kaepernicking.
I've seen stories on his tattoo artist and all this other garbage that's out there. And an interesting story that you brought up, trademarking. Some guy last year, when the Harbaughs were close to going to the Super Bowl and playing each other then, trademarked Harbowl and Harbaugh Bowl. Trademarked them. Put $1,000 out there, trademarked them. NFL went to him and said, we think you should walk away from those patents because it could be confused with the Super Bowl. So he walked away they pressured him enough, he walked away from it.
I'm assuming there's some kind of buyout there.
No. Nothing. It was on WPIX's website today. No, he said there was nothing. He said they left him no other option but to walk. They were going to sue him.
Well, how can they sue him?
Well, because they would argue with the confusion between the Super Bowl and Harbaugh Bowl and Harbaugh.
Oh, their trademark takes precedence. Yeah, okay. That reminds me of I've been in Vegas a few times for the Super Bowl, and the way they had to phrase the Super Bowl parties.
Yeah, you can't use Super Bowl.
Well, you couldn't even use bowl or super. Like, one place was being shut down because they said, come for a super party. Which I think is just ridiculous. I mean, these are words. If you're not, on top of it enough to protect yourself, like the trademark and copyright have become an absurd thing. And right now, after that rambling and disjointed and meaningless statement, I want to say I'm playing hurt. I have the flu.
Oh, Jesus. Playing hurt. Come by the store, I'll give you something to whine about.
Fair enough.
I'll slide cleats high. How's that?
Oh, all right, and let's get us to the games. We made a profit.
Yeah, small profit.
Small profit because we did take Baltimore plus 300. We cashed that, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking. Not really much in doubt. Baltimore
and after
beat them.
Well, halfway through the third quarter, I still can't figure out, and I've mentioned this to several people, the kind of defense Baltimore plays that just befuddles Tom Brady. Like, they've struggled to beat Baltimore since their undefeated regular season. They had trouble there.
Well, part of that, Baltimore
get it.
Built themselves in some ways to beat New England. They were the kings.
Yeah, but what have they figured out that nobody else in the league can figure out defensively to slow them down? Like, they're putting up close to 40 against... They averaged like 40 points a game this year.
Well, and even earlier this year against Baltimore, they put up 30. But, I mean, I think Gronkowski changes things a little bit. I don't think there are 5 trips to the red zone with 1 touchdown if Gronkowski's there. But I'm starting to wonder, too, now, does Gronkowski get the he's the best tight end in football when he's not hurt label?
Yeah, it could be. Well, now they're saying that his arm may not ever fully be safe.
Oh, so, I hadn't heard that, but I'm just saying. I mean, we were quick to throw that on Stafford. Gronkowski, if he's healthy.
Well, Gates, too.
Yeah.
Gates wore that crown for a few years.
Well, and deserved to.
Yeah. But with Gronkowski, he wasn't fully healed, and he came back with the broken arm.
Yeah.
And they showed that play against Baltimore last year in the playoffs. And the guy basically sat on his ankle. So it's not like he's like, these are little dinky injuries. He's just getting dinged up.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying he's, those labels never seem to go on Patriots players, but Gronkowski's amazing, and I think he could have changed that game to some extent.
Oh, but where's the genius of Brady and Belichick now? I always hear, they won Super Bowls with Jabbar Gaffneys and Deion Branches. Well, where's that now?
Well, they can't cover outside. Bolden and Smith and Flacco. Flacco had a great game. But it was Bolden and Smith. The New England secondary is incapable of dealing with those guys.
So that game changed when Talib went out.
That's true, but was he really that much of a shutdown?
Well, Bolden didn't have a catch. Do you think Bolden catches those 2 touchdowns with Talib on him?
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, that was just a rotating coverage thing. They were so uptight about Torrey Smith after he was beating them in the first. They rolled over the coverage to stop Torrey Smith, and I think Bolden still would have been open.
No. Talib was on a man. Until he went out, he was on a man coverage. Then they changed their defense once they had to change their defense because they didn't have anybody that they felt comfortable with in man coverage.
Well, so they're thin at secondary.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, we hear all the legend of these guys being such great offensive minds. You can't tell me that Gronkowski being out is the only reason they lost.
No, I think it would have changed things significantly. And, you know me, I'm not a New England apologist. The red zone is where it's not if he catches the touchdowns. Hernandez is only useful in the red zone when Gronk is there, in my opinion.
Yes, but they're supposed to be able to take ordinary players and make them superstars and do it with just the genius of Tom Brady.
Well, something you said to me this afternoon, they looked defeated that whole second half. There was absolutely no fire and passion from a single Patriots player.
No, I agree.
It was like, even though they came into the second half with a lead, they felt they were defeated.
Well, they left so many points on the field in the first half, too.
Well, yeah, and at the end of the first half, the cleating play, which I think Brady should be monstrously fined for.
Oh, he got fined $10,000.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I think
Which
he took it out of his wallet, but
I don't even care.
Yeah, but more importantly, that was an incredibly sloppy sequence for the best coached team by the best coach in history.
Well, that's in doubt now, isn't it?
How do you let 9 seconds fly away in that situation?
Yeah, but we see it. It's not just him. It's every coach in the league. Seattle did the same thing against Atlanta.
No, but Pete Carroll is not yet acknowledged as the greatest coach.
No, but I'm
saying, and Russell Wilson isn't yet acknowledged as the greatest quarterback in history. Why Brady doesn't come up and just hit time there, I have no idea. You run them up, you blow 9 seconds off the clock.
What
uncharacteristically sloppy, and they did that in the Arizona game.
Yeah, but it's not like this is new in the NFL. I think...
No, but if you're going to wear the mantle of you're the greatest, most efficient, best coach, genius
that's
team...
what I'm trying to say, is that is a fallacy, and it's proven out.
It's starting to be.
Since Dimitrov went to Atlanta... and Pioli went to Kansas City, they've gotten thinner and thinner in talent. So all that crap about Belichick being this great judge of talent is bullshit. When they had that group of them to do it, it worked flawlessly because they could find those gems and bring guys in that fit their system.
You're right.
Is this like Shanahan being labeled a genius because he had Elway and Terrell Davis and Shannon Sharp? Like, is that how it works? They already had they had Bruschi and all these guys in place. And Belichick, yes, I give him credit for taking. You
gotta give him credit on their record.
No, I do. But he had that talent there, and he could mold it into his system. But since that core group of guys on the defense left, what have they replaced it with? Crap.
Yeah, on the other hand, 2 Super Bowl losses is one more than my team has in their history. So, I mean, a little bit of sour grapes.
No, but he's got arguably the best quarterback to ever play. Like, the coaches only do...
What did Brady do in that game?
Nothing, but the coaches only do so much. And when you don't put the proper talent on the field, it's like they're wasting, like the Colts did. Everything's to help Brady, and the defense is left to flounder. What did Wilfork do?
Oh, I didn't hear his name.
No.
And I watched him on the line a few times, and yeah, he was getting double-teamed, but he was getting manhandled by the double team. He wasn't splitting any double teams. He wasn't disrupting anything.
No, he did nothing. Did they even have pressure on Flacco that whole game? That offensive line hasn't gotten enough credit in the playoffs. They played great.
Well, I wanted to bring that up too. I mean, this was kind of like you stash McKinney all year because you know he's only got 5 games in him. You bring him in, get him up to game speed, and he dominates. Sorry, that's a brilliant coaching move.
Well, and they moved Michael Orr over to right tackle.
Exactly, where he always should have been. Fuck the movie. And
put McKinney at left tackle.
Yep.
And
Because he's not going to stand up to his season, but for 4 or 5 games, great left tackle.
And that Pierce at running back for Baltimore.
He's quick.
And he's big. Like, he had 9 carries for 52 yards. Rice had 48 and 18.
Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, even just watching him, like I was saying, he is so quick and so fast. Well, I guess not baseline fast, but he's just quick. There's no hesitation. He's really exciting.
The Super Bowl, we'll get into it next week, but Baltimore scares me.
Fair enough. I mean, the wild cards have got to be dangerous, and they're getting a lot of points. But that's for next week.
Yeah.
This week again, we decided the price was good enough to fire out. We hedged that with a teaser bet where we got the first hand on San Fran, and we just covered New England winning by 2. But that was a hedge bet, so
yeah,
we knew we weren't going to win both of them. We won the one that paid money.
Yes, we needed. Yeah, but when we lost our other one, when San Francisco didn't cover the 4.5,
that's the other game.
If we would have waited a day, it would have been a push. It went down to 4.
Really?
Yeah. So, if we'd have waited a day, we would have got it at 4 and pushed it. So, I don't feel too bad about that. It's all just about timing. And we make the bets live while we're doing the podcast. Yes. So I'm never going to complain about that.
No,
because we want to make the bets.
We want to make the bets. Hunters or wise guys. We've said that. It's in our mission statement. We'll find the best line, but we will not sit there and wait for it to move half a point and then punch it like a day trader.
No.
So let's talk about that game a bit. What else do we have to say? Flacco was fantastic.
Yeah, but he's still this 55% completion guy.
Yeah, but he can take it deep, which kind of, based on what we saw from San Fran, Atlanta, not such a bad quarterback to be facing them.
No.
With Torrey Smith and Bolden. I mean, Julio and Roddy are amazing, but you know what? Smith and Bolden are not such a bad representation of those guys.
But I still don't think Bolden gets behind anybody unless it's a mistake. So you don't have to worry about him deep. And they don't throw to their tight ends at all. What did Pitta have in that game?
Pitta had like 118.
What?
Yeah. Pitta blew him up.
Oh, this is going to be interesting. Fuck. The only thing I remember was him getting laid out at the 5 and then catching the touchdown.
Pitta caught like a bunch of 11 and 12. Like, you can check those stats. This is my memory speaking. So, I could be wrong on that, but I thought Pitta had a nice game. So, I don't know. It's interesting. 53% passing. I mean, it could be.
What's wrong with? Well, we'll get into that with Bolden Smith, but that's for next week.
Well, yeah, but let's talk about the Atlanta game.
Okay.
How good can Atlanta? Okay.
Sorry. At the end, I want to go back to Ray Lewis, just for a bit.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can talk about our general impressions, but how does Atlanta come out and
No, he had 5 catches for 55 yards.
That's a good game for a tight end, man.
No
Sorry,
wonder
that's a good game for a tight end.
No, but no wonder I didn't remember him.
Yeah, but they were big catches.
Well, 2 of them were.
2
and I'm surprised on those catches he got laid out at the 5. I'm surprised they didn't call a penalty just because his head snapped back. Because that's all they call it on.
I don't recall that, but
and if he wouldn't have got up, you don't remember his head almost snapped off his body. And like if you look at the Vernon Davis one where he got hit in Seattle and they called the penalty, it was the same thing. Hit him in the shoulder, his head snapped back, and they called the penalty in Seattle and didn't call it there.
Okay.
Which it just did surprise me because they call it more by what the reaction of the player being hit than what the actual hit was.
Well, yeah, we're going to see soccer-style diving a lot in the NFL.
Like, okay, here's the stats. Flacco only threw for 240 yards.
So.
No, but I'm saying there was nothing deep. They got nothing deep.
Depends what you consider deep. I mean, do you not think
15 yards is intermediate?
Okay, eyeballs, though. I mean, think about, did it not feel like he was controlling that game with his wideouts? How many catches did Brandon Lloyd, and who's on the opposite side of him in New England?
Nobody.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, no, I know. But
so
I know
if you can throw the ball to your wideout and they're unable to cover your wideout, you beat New England.
Yeah, but they only had 4 and 5 catches each.
Big catches.
No, I know, but it's not like they were just marching up and down. What I'm trying
that wasn't. The game wasn't decided until 7 minutes left in the fourth.
But what was worrying me was I thought it seemed like you were right. It seemed like they dominated more with the receivers. But they had 4 and 5 catches. Yeah. So it's not.
And 100 yards on the ground between Rice and Pierce.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a balanced team. They just went out and beat them. Old school football. You know?
I don't know if that's enough. You can't. Okay,
San Francisco says they're an old school football team, but how much passing yardage do they give up to Atlanta?
396.
That's not a good number.
30 of that was at the end, though.
Oh, okay.
So 366. That one just keep him out of the end zone.
Oh, okay.
To Roddy White. But anyway, see, now I keep wanting to go into the Super Bowl stuff, but we'll just carry on. Let's go on to San Francisco.
All right.
Atlanta. So,
as I was saying, how does Atlanta come out and look flawless for most of the first half?
The whole first half.
And, well, they did give up some points in this first half, but...
No, but the offense, it didn't look like San Francisco was going to be able to stop them.
How do they turtle? Like, what is wrong with that?
It's got to play calling? I don't know.
Like, I've got no real theory.
But their running game was working really well in the first half. When the Niners cut it to within 3, that pretty much went away. All these teams just go pass. Except when they got down to like the 9 there, or 10.
And then they would just do that read option and let Gore keep it. Oh,
no, I'm talking about Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Went pass. When it got to 24-21. When they were running, what's his name? The ex-Charger. Why can't I think of his name?
Oh, Turner the Burner. The former Burner.
Yeah, but he was close to 100 yards. And then they just stopped giving him the ball. They ran it with that Jacquizz Rodgers.
Yeah, who's the scat back. He's a
10.
Situational guy.
But they wasted it down. When they were at the 10-yard line with a minute left or minute and a half left, they wasted it down. You got 1 yard. I understand the element of surprise, but fuck. Aren't you better off, especially with time running down, throw the fucking ball?
I honestly don't really buy the element of surprise.
Well, not anymore.
It's, if you do something really well, do it until they prove you can't do it anymore.
But
Is
how?
my belief. It's.
But Atlanta looked. Okay. At some point, don't you sell out on Frank Gore or LaMichael James on those touchdowns? The guy was right there. Could have made the tackle. He stops in case Kaepernick holds on to the ball. Don't at some point you fucking level Gore?
Well, yeah, just level him anyway. If Kaepernick takes it outside, you've got guys who supposedly are holding the edge.
And especially on the third touchdown, they ran the same play on all 3 touchdowns that they ran.
Yeah, right side.
And there was they didn't get touched. So on the third one, when the game's on the line, do you not think, okay, if I see that this time, I'm crashing down on Gore? No, the fucking linebacker stayed right on the outside where the coaches told him to stay and watched Kaepernick hand the ball off. And they were all, like, it was almost the same yardage and everything, 9 or 10 yards. First time, okay, you got me. Second time, same thing. What? Third time, I was like, okay. Worked for us because we'd bet on the Niners, but...
Well, yeah, it didn't really work.
Because there was enough time left to think, okay, maybe they get a field goal.
Fucking Akers.
Yeah, it cost us.
38 yards, and he had the temerity to say I was 3 inches off a perfect game.
Yeah, what, you kicked 4 extra points?
Yeah, and you got touchbacks.
Well, everybody gets touchbacks now. That's not even...
Well, and what would have been touchbacks in the past, now people are just bringing it out from 8.
Yeah.
If they see that their blocking is up front. In fact, so many of these kids are bringing it out way too many times. And by the way, I think kick return yardage should start at the 20 if you bring it out from the end zone.
Yes.
You should not get credit if you do not get to the 20. So, give you 22 if you make it to the 22-yard line. But if you're nailed at the 13, that's a negative 7-yard return.
Yeah. No, I like that idea.
I'm just so sick of these guys bringing it out with nothing. It's like, take a knee, son.
Yeah, you're better off because the only bad things you're going to have, not very often do you run one back. But that's coaching. They don't take that out on their own.
Oh, I know, but I just think statistically that should be a new way to look at it. If you field it in the end zone and bring it out, you should not be giving credit for any yards past the 20.
Or prior to the 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you're past the 20, score it full. Because that means you've actually improved, by your decision, you've improved the starting field position.
Yeah. No,
but
it makes perfect sense.
If you get nailed behind the 20, those are negative yards. That's a bad decision.
No, it's makes perfect sense, dude. Dude.
Anyway, I don't know. They didn't overwhelm me in that game.
Who, the Niners?
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, they got down 17-0. They dominated the game after that pretty much, except for the 2-minute drill at the end of the first half. And old Matty Ice looked like his sphincter tightened up there in the fourth quarter on that fumble, or the late in the third.
Well, that was bizarre. It wasn't like it was out of his... You know, I've seen the surprise snap.
No, he was looking right at it.
Oh, I know. I was going to say, this isn't the same thing as the surprise one where the quarterback is still positioning his wideout and his motion man to the right, and the ball hits him in the face. I've seen that before too, and that's embarrassing, but it happens, you know.
That one would have hit him in the chest. It was perfect snap. But
yeah, Matty Ice, not the greatest nickname on the planet.
No. But I still can't figure out how they basically got shut down in 2 consecutive playoff games in the second half.
Well, and let's just also say Baltimore shut down. It was a shutout against New England in the second half.
Yeah. And can I say one other thing just one little nugget about Ray Lewis?
Oh, absolutely.
The most overrated stat is tackles.
Yep.
And they're all saying, "Oh, Ray Lewis is leading the league in tackles in the playoffs." Well, yeah, because
on a dog pile.
Because Nada is fucking cleaning up 2 guys in front of him.
Oh, I know.
And it's not like he's running guys down sideline to sideline. Fuck.
No, he's played acceptably. This love. I mean, but now. You know storylines. That's how it's going to work.
But it just makes me want to puke. I'm sorry.
You hate Ray Lewis
more than
I do.
No, I respect him.
Oh, I know. And I'm just delighted to see the Patriots lose.
I respect him as a football player, but as one radio personality that I listened to said, the Ray Lewis dance is him shaking off the DNA. And that pretty much describes how I feel about Ray Lewis. And if you want to follow somebody on Twitter that's funny, Opie Radio. At Opie Radio. Opie and Anthony. Fucking, he's the one that tweeted that out. It's perfect. I was just like, nailed it.
No, yeah, that's awesome. And I love seeing the Patriots lose. I love seeing them act like whining, entitled assholes in their loss. I loved everything about that, and I'll accept Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
Shelley actually asked me, do you really want to hear about Ray Lewis for 2 weeks? And I said, I'd rather hear about that than Belichick and Brady.
Well, and that's the thing. And you know what? It's almost, the Patriots now are almost like a song you hear on the radio too much. They're Nickelback.
That's not bad.
They're Nickelback. Everybody in Canada loved them for fucking the first 3 years. And then the backlash started. Well, that has only happened because every time you turned the radio on, they were playing. Any big event in Canada, that was the band. You just saw them everywhere and heard them everywhere for that long. And we've heard the Patriots since 2001. Heard nothing but the Patriots and how brilliant they are for like over a decade. It's just people are sick of it. It has nothing to do with they're bad people or bad guys or whatever, or they're arrogant. None of that. Because I've never heard Tom Brady say anything arrogant. He comes across, he's the antithesis to Ray Lewis.
And he hasn't allegedly been involved in a murder.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I respect the Patriots, but I still love seeing them lose.
And he doesn't have 4 wives and 4 ex-wives and 6 babies.
2 babies, 2 wives.
Yeah.
You know, not a great number. It doesn't put you to holiness stature.
Ray Lewis's wives against Tom Brady's wives.
Oh, man. Sorry, Ray Lewis's wives. Clean the room.
Okay, back to the Niners. Do you have anything else to say? Kaepernick played great.
He did.
He looks like the real deal. The offense that Harbaugh's come up with, or their offensive coordinator, phenomenal. In the second half, Atlanta had no idea what was coming. It's just, I don't know, will Baltimore have the wheels to stay with them? And will they?
It's a good question. I think Baltimore, by the way, they've shut down every outside receiver thus far in the playoffs. I think Baltimore has a really underrated cornerback tandem.
Yeah, do we see Vernon Davis have a big game? And nobody's been able to really run against Baltimore either.
Well, no team that Baltimore has faced thus far has had a game-changing tight end. So that's a big question. Something I want to look into.
But the Atlanta, I don't know if next year they get over the hump. San Francisco's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think Atlanta, this was their window.
Green Bay.
Atlanta fans, welcome to Charger land.
Yeah, 3 years be questioning whether Matt Ryan's the answer. You should trade him and give him a change of scenery.
Yep.
And their coaching has to be questioned too.
Much like the Chargers. The parallels are really strong.
But how does your game plan change so much on offense? What happens? You put up 24 points in the first half. The Niners' defense was still giving up yardage in the second half, but you couldn't score.
Yeah, I don't know. And Julio and Roddy White are one of the best wideout tandems in the league. I mean,
who would you put up with them? Maybe Gronk and Welker? Different.
Yeah, that's a totally different system. But yeah, I mean, guys who can hurt you.
There's two receivers that dominate.
Well, as I was saying earlier too, I don't think Bolden Smith are they're a poor man's imitation, but they're not so.
No,
they're not so counterfeit.
They're not terrible, but they're not. If you lined up the top 10 receivers in football, they wouldn't be picked.
No, probably not. But
no, they're the system they're in and what they ask them to do. But you're not. If you can stop Torrey Smith from getting behind you, he's going to have the day like he had: 5 catches, 70 yards. It's not like they.
It's also about depleting their defensive scheme. He had 5 for 70, but the safety was cheating on his side all day.
Yeah, but they didn't really take advantage of it.
Well, no, if the safety's cheating.
No. I mean, like, tight end and shit.
I don't know. They seem to do quite enough to dominate New England at home.
Yes, I know.
How can I argue about their game plan that they should have done more? That's just ridiculous.
No, but I'm just saying they're not. They played the game they needed to play to beat New England.
They played old-timey football and they stomped them.
I just don't know if it's enough to start saying they're a poor man's this and that. They're okay. Bolden 5 years ago, yeah. Now he's a possession receiver.
He always was. He was the best. He was always the best number 2 receiver in football. Behind Fitzgerald or here. He was never a true number 1 receiver in my opinion. But he is the greatest outside possession receiver we've seen in a long time.
No. He was the top receiver in Arizona. He was Rookie of the Year.
He's better than Fitzgerald?
I didn't say that. But you're saying he wasn't a number 1. He was. He was a number 1 when he came in. But now he's old.
I still think he was always a great number 2.
He had 200 yards receiving his first game. He was blowing guys. So I think I will respectfully disagree with that assumption. Because I think he was the number 1 in Arizona.
All right, so next week. We ready to go to next week?
Sure.
Unless you wanted to bitch about Ray Lewis some more.
Well, I didn't really get to say what I wanted to say.
All right.
Well, I mentioned that he had the 4 wives and 6 kids. I'm just sick of the media. Well, not the media. The media is always going to do that shit. I'm sick of the contrived nature of all his stuff. From the dance to start the game to kneeling on the field after they won with his head on the turf like he's praying to Allah. Fucking 50 media people around him snapping pictures. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's
absolutely
milking this for everything it's worth. He's, most times when I see guys when guys cry, there's actual tears coming out of their eyes. My lips don't just curl up and I make the squinty face like I'm crying when he was on the sidelines during the national anthem. Oh, Father! Oh, Father! Fuck off. You piece of shit. Involved in 2 murders, covered it up, and you want to pass yourself off as a Christian. That's the shit that bugs me the most. If he wasn't a hypocrite piece of shit, I could care less what he does after, during, before, fuck, whatever in the game. Milk it for all you want. But when you try and pass yourself off as this fucking stand-up citizen to the world and the press fucking laps it up and perpetuates it, it pisses me off. Like, I don't know how many people watched the post-game when they were interviewing Harbaugh and presenting him with the NFC Championship trophy. And he happened to, he thanked the current Ravens owner, and then, can't forget to mention Art Modell.
There's a piece of shit.
No. Then, Ray Lewis had no intention of taking off his... He had on, I think 3 undershirts. I don't know who else they could have mentioned that he could have peeled another shirt off.
Well, he started taking them off in the sidelines. He was doing some kind of bizarre striptease with 6 minutes left.
The podium there where whoever was interviewing him, Nance or whoever the fuck they had there, when he mentioned Odell, Lewis takes off one of his undershirts and he's got an undershirt with Art Modell's picture on it.
I had no idea.
Fucking kidding me? And fucking upset and pissed off. Great football player. He's a scuzzball. A contrived fucking scuzzball.
Oh, absolutely.
I found the Lord after what happened in Atlanta, and I changed who I associated with, and blah, blah, fucking blah. Yeah, repair that image, Ray. Because there's still 2 guys dead and nobody caught, and you know who the fuck did it.
Oh, absolutely, and I've said that.
When your suits...
You've known me. But I just want to give Grant Land, a writer there, put together an absolute timeline if anyone's unfamiliar with what happened there. It's a no opinion, just timeline of what happened in his murder trial. It's quite well done.
And how, if you're a Christian, how do you live with yourself?
You paid off the families.
No. But how does your conscience allow you to go on with your life if you're the God-fearing Christian that you claim to be? This has always been my problem with religion. It's convenient. Use it when you need it, and then say fuck it when you don't. So when your suit's covered in blood and you throw it away, never to be seen again, or burnt it, or whatever you did with it, Ray, I got a problem with you standing on the sidelines thanking the Father for giving you the opportunity to play in this fucking game. Done.
Amen.
Fuck that shit. But no, he is the one guy. Have you ever heard me go out? I don't like Peyton Manning either. And we talked about this today. I thought that was contrived too, that he stayed around to congratulate Ray Lewis.
It's all contrived.
He does that. It compensates for his lack of ability in big games. Oh, he's a nice guy. So he doesn't take the ripping that other guys take. Matt Ryan's taken more of a ripping than Peyton Manning has. And Manning's only won. He's lost. He's 9-11 now in the playoffs. So when Ray Lewis is being exalted as this clown, I've never gone after Peyton Manning because he hasn't done anything to go after him other than lose football. You can just point to the facts with him. Ray Lewis is the definition of a hypocrite. And just in my own, I don't know how we're going to bet next week, but for my own cheering for the Super Bowl, I hope San Francisco fucking curb stomps them. And he goes out getting beat about 52-10. And it would be beautiful. Okay, done.
All right. That was a great rant. Quite enjoyed that. Just got out of your way on that one.
Oh, thanks for giving me the time. It's anybody that would listen for a week, so it was nice to put it out to the... Well, I probably told more people than listen to this podcast.
With less obscenity.
Oh, so you were going to say about next week?
Next week, we're going to do 2 short ones. We're going to do an Up Thursday podcast where we're just going to throw around some money on prop bets, have a little fun, and then we're going to bet the game hardcore Up Friday.
Sounds good to me. I can't believe we're almost at the end of another season.
Oh, I know. They zip by. They zip by and they seem like years because I still have trouble remembering that Arizona beat New England.
Oh, it should have come back because I think they played as well in that game as they did against Arizona.
Yeah, there was some deja vu going on there. All right, I'm Marlon.
Let me give her a little bit of an outro here. So if you want to check out the podcast, you can search it on iTunes. It's Offensive Lines. You can listen to it on our website, offensivelines.ca. Follow us on Twitter for any updates on the website or podcast when they're available. It's at Offensive Lines or facebook.com/Offensive Lines. And if you want to contact the show, send us an email to offensivelines@shaw.ca. And remember, eat your betting money, but don't bet your eating money.
True words. We're out.